honestly, and I've had, 2 nights kind of to sleep on this now, it's one of the best matches I've ever seen.
This
definitely my favourite match of the year.
Oh, 100% is my favourite match of the year. This was Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Just an incredible video package to start this off. Just where, we've talked about this on the AEW reviews, the weekly reviews a lot, where it's like you can see everyone's point of view. No one's really wrong, no one's really right. But you got the Bucks there being like, we thought we'd be champions. And JR just keeps hammering this home. I think they're the best tag team in the world. They should be the champions. It just brilliantly recapped the story, and then it closed with this amazing, I'm guessing this was on the road to Revolution, where the interviewer asked Kenny in this sort of sit down with him and Hangman, being like, are you concerned about Hangman at all? And Hangman just goes, sort of questions that. Then goes off on one, and gets up to leave, and he's like, no, I was going to say that I'm not, but maybe I should be. And that, every single thing that they've done in the lead up to this match paid off to perfection in this match.
And not just the build. We're talking 4 or 5 years of interconnected elite storyline stuff in New Japan, Bullet Club, Ring of Honor, the AEW era. All of that plays into this. We saw a Marty Scurll reference.
Oh, yeah.
Where Hangman Page did the super kick. No, just kidding. And then a full-on chicken wing.
Yeah.
Huge pop to the crowd.
Doing the little dance and everything.
There was my favourite spot of the year, tied with another spot in this match, where the Bucks did the Golden Lovers.
The knee.
What's that? I can't remember. It's got a name, but it's effectively Ibushi's knee finish, but 2 people do it. The Kamigoye?
Yeah.
And they did that on Omega. They used, what an insult to use that move on Omega, who loves Ibushi, but they've been separated by circumstance. They're like Romeo and Juliet. And they use it on him, and they pin him, and he kicks out at 1. Don't try New Japaner.
I jumped out of my seat. I struggled to take notes in this because I was just so... And I struggled to take notes, and I've written nearly 2 pages worth of notes because there's so...
A lot in capitals.
And a lot where I've just gone like, oh my God! Because I was enraptured by this. Really enraptured. And there were moments like that when I was like, stop taking notes. I need to jump up out of my seat and really take this moment in and sit down and be like, right, what did I just see? And I've got to write it down quickly because another amazing spot's going to happen in a minute. It was just nuts. And I loved, everyone was great in this match. But my MVP was Matt Jackson, because I loved his frustrations throughout this match. I loved when Hangman was just beating the crap out of Nick, and he just tossed Nick into the corner and was like, tag him in. Because he wants Matt. He wants to face off against Matt Jackson. And there was a part in this where Matt Jackson was ordering Nick to do stuff that Nick didn't really look like he was comfortable doing. But he was yelling at him. There was one point where he was like, get your ass up, we're going to do this now. And Nick would be like, yeah, okay, I kind of guess. And there was a moment then when Matt realized what he had done that he then sold brilliantly, because I think Nick was like, look at what we're doing. The 4 of them just did every single thing in this to absolute perfection. This was the greatest bit of pro wrestling this year. It was wonderful stuff.
And you might be thinking, but wait a second. Wasn't the Bucks and Omega on quite a good page? So that was pun not intended. Before this, and now we're talking about Matt telling Nick to do stuff and these, using insulting moves on Kenny Omega. How did we get to that? I'll tell you, through 25 minutes of just extraordinary non-verbal storytelling.
Yeah.
Where you're watching this story unfold and these character tensions arise and thaw and clash through wrestling.
Yeah.
The art form of wrestling. This is as close to a sort of narrative art that you can get with this medium, I guess.
And it was also really helped by the fact you had Excalibur doing commentary, who has been with these 4 people on this journey as well. Because there was a point when, prior to Matt sort of flipping out at Nick and kind of ordering him around, Kenny and Paige were working over his back because they know that's his weak spot, is working over his back. And you got Excalibur on commentary saying when they were in Japan, they Nick Omega and Page, they were the people that were putting the ice packs on Matt because he couldn't really get out of bed and he couldn't do it himself. And then saying like they were all part of the same faction. And in Japan, you have to travel in the same bus as your faction. So these guys they've traveled all over together, so they do know each other incredibly well. And I love the way Excalibur was talking about Matt's back of being like, it's kind of a dick move for you to go after that because you know that's the weak spot, but also it's kind of a smart thing to do. And that just fuels Matt even further to be like, you dicks, you know that hurts. Like, you know that's my weak spot. And you targeted that for cheap moves.
Yeah, and it all kind of started with Paige spitting at Matt because Omega and Matt had like a sort of respectful shake hands exchange. Then Paige just like, no, spits at Matt's face. And that, like we go from there to like it getting more and more aggressive between Paige and Matt to that bit where they're going for the back. And then sort of in answer to that, there's this wonderful 5-minute stretch where the Bucks keep throwing Omega out the ring because they just want to work on Paige. They just want to beat up Paige. That's who their problem's with. Omega's kind of this guy just caught in the middle. And I don't think I've ever seen a match where a team are working heel on one tag partner and face on another. Just mind-blowing stuff. But then you get to the part where Matt's had enough and they start ripping the tape off of Omega's shoulder after that Pac match earlier in the week.
Which ties into Paige's, they were putting this over in commentary. Paige has, got to be thinking, why would you put yourself through that 30 minutes of hell?
Exactly.
3 days before our title defense. And it basically, he had a target on himself that the Bucks didn't go for initially. But then after a while, we're like, well, if you're going to go after the back, then I guess we'll target your shoulder.
Every single detail had at least 2 or 3 different interpretations and bits of context. It was so layered. And when I watched the match, I thought it went on 2 finishes too long. Andy very eloquently called it the Return of the King. Because there were 2 emotional high points, but they went on a couple of minutes more. But looking back on it and the story they told, I think they did the right thing.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why.
I was going to say, I didn't think that.
There was a reason behind every false finish. Omega hit the One-Winged Angel.
Well, he tried to hit it, but he couldn't. And it was Paige that hit the One-Winged Angel.
Yeah, but then Nick broke it up. And the story there was Omega, his shoulder couldn't hit the One-Winged Angel. But then it all builds up to Paige being like, well, I won these tag belts by myself, which is what happened on the boat show. I'm gonna retain them by myself. And it was Paige who just took out both members of the Young Bucks and won.
Yeah. And then we got the post-match.
Which has my other favourite spot tied. So, I might even like this one more.
I think I might do as well, because the Bucks want a handshake. And after a little while, Kenny goes, yeah, okay, and he fist bumps them and they give the hug. But Paige is quite noticeably keeping his distance. And he walks away. He gets outside the ring and he puts the title belt down and he grabs the ropes as if he's about to do the buckshot onto Kenny. Not like he is positioning himself to do it. He just puts his hands in that position that he would do. And Kenny's facing the other way, and then Kenny turns around and they lock eyes. And Paige just stops and he just opens up the ropes for Kenny to walk out. And Tony Schiavone, this was so good. Tony Schiavone was like, I think he's setting up. He didn't say the words, but he was like, I think he's setting up. And then when he opened the ropes, he was like, oh, there must be my eyes playing tricks on me. I was clearly writing stuff in my head there. Because it could be seen as he thought about doing it and changed his mind, or he was never going to do it at all, and he was just there to open up the ropes.
Put the belt down there.
He put the belt down. I know. It was the belt down. That's what I love about it.
It's just an incredible moment, and we talk about this a lot because it is a device that is used in wrestling angles, and that's one of dramatic irony, that you have a character in front of you who doesn't know something's about to happen to them, but you as the viewer or audience do. And you had that moment. Yeah. You had when Omega had his back turned, Paige is setting up or maybe he wasn't. Maybe. And then you're it's this remarkable switch of perspective and meaning when Omega sees it, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So now you're like, as a viewer, that experience of disorientation and catching you out, like, you're a voyeur. You know, it's just there's a lot of perception theory going on here. Just to analyze and just what was that? 4 seconds?
Yeah.
And the Omega is a good acting. Page is a good acting.
They are good acting.
They do the right faces.
Yeah.
They say the right words.
Yeah.
Flawless.
It was, just except if you haven't seen this match, this is the one you really need to go out of your way to watch. And just and then go back and watch the entire catalogue of this, of just from when this storyline started, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before they won the belts, and just watch it week to week to week to build to this point. It is a fantastic story that has been so well told. It's my favorite thing in wrestling right now. And it's not done yet.
It's not nowhere close. Yeah, because did you go for Page and Omega to
I
retain?
went for Page and Omega,
Yeah, because, what happens now? I don't think you can turn Page heel.
No.
He's gotten so over as a babyface. This has been, compare where Page was last August. He was pushed beyond his means, and although everyone likes him, it is a bit like, we'll talk about that more in the next match. And he was in the inaugural championship match, and now we're here, and he's probably the most over guy in the company, not named Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. I just
5 out of 5.
Say has just said in the comments, masterpiece.
Yes.
And that is an absolutely perfect word to describe this. I'm so excited for Wednesday's show. I'm so excited for Dynamite this Wednesday because I want to see what happens next in this story. I'm so excited.
And you got to think the Bucks, Omega and Page, this is that, Cody's got his vision of what wrestling is, and it's mostly 80s, mid-Atlantic, whatever.
It's the stuff that Dusty was doing.
Yeah, which is great. I thought that was my favorite kind too. Last year, that was the story of Cody's 80s matches, right? Where he had a few 5-star matches. My top 5 was pretty much 3 Cody matches. But now I've seen this, I'm like, oh no, this is what I like. This is a very modern, Cody's got the nostalgia 80s style, back to basics storytelling perfectly. But what Omega, Bucks and Page have done is Marvel.
Yeah.
Right? It's like highbrow MCU.